The screech of tires ripped through the humid Bangkok air, followed by the shattering of glass. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I scrambled back, my flip-flops skidding on the slick pavement, narrowly avoiding the tuk-tuk that had just careened into a noodle cart. The driver, a wiry man with panicked eyes, leaped out, babbling in rapid Thai. Chaos erupted. Vendors yelled, tourists gawked, and the pungent aroma of pad see ew mingled with the metallic tang of spilled blood. This was my first week in Thailand, a solo backpacking trip I'd embarked on to find myself, a cliché I now fully embraced. I'd envisioned serene temples, vibrant markets, and inner peace. Instead, I'd nearly been flattened by a rogue tuk-tuk. Far from zen, I muttered, my English accent sounding ridiculously out of place in the pandemonium. Suddenly, a voice cut through the noise, clear and commanding. "Everyone, please, calm down. Is anyone hurt?" A woman emerged from the crowd. She was tall and elegant, with a cascade of raven hair and eyes that seemed to hold all the wisdom of the East. She spoke in perfect English, her voice soothing yet firm. She assessed the scene, directing bystanders to help the injured vendor, and calmly negotiated with the tuk-tuk driver. Within minutes, she'd restored order. I was mesmerized. This woman, this angel of Bangkok chaos, was everything I wanted to be: confident, capable, and fluent in English. My own English, while grammatically sound, felt clumsy and hesitant compared to hers. I knew then and there what I had to do. I had to learn to speak English like that. I approached her hesitantly. "Excuse me," I began, my voice trembling slightly. I just wanted to say thank you. You were amazing." She smiled, a warm, genuine smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes. "You're welcome. It's quite common here, unfortunately. Traffic can be challenging." "I'm Emily," I said, extending my hand. "I'm from England." "Seria," she replied, shaking my hand. "Welcome to Thailand, Emily." Over the next few weeks, I shadowed Seria. She was a whirlwind of activity. By day, she worked as a translator for a medical NGO, navigating complex medical jargon in both English and Thai. By night, she volunteered at a local school, teaching English to underprivileged children. She spoke to me in English constantly, correcting my grammar, expanding my vocabulary, and patiently explaining the nuances of the language. I learned more than just English from Seria. I learned about Thai culture, about compassion, and about the power of communication. She taught me to haggle in the markets, to navigate the intricate bus system, and to appreciate the beauty of a simple bowl of noodles. She even introduced me to her family, a sprawling, boisterous clan who welcomed me with open arms. My initial goal, to speak English like Seria, evolved into something much deeper. I wanted to connect with people, to understand their stories, to bridge cultural divides. English wasn't just a language anymore, it was a key, unlocking a world of possibilities. One evening, after a particularly challenging English lesson, Seria looked at me thoughtfully. "You've come a long way, Emily," she said. "Your English has improved dramatically." "Thanks to you," I replied, genuinely grateful. "You have a natural talent for languages," she continued. "Have you ever considered teaching English?" The thought had never crossed my mind. Me, a teacher? I still felt like a novice, struggling with prepositions and irregular verbs. I don't know, I stammered. Seria smiled. "You have the passion, Emily. That's the most important thing. The rest you can learn." Inspired by her words, I decided to stay in Thailand longer. I enrolled in a TEFL, Teaching English as a Foreign Language, course, determined to follow in Seria's footsteps. The course was intensive, challenging me in ways I never imagined. But with Seria's support and encouragement, I persevered. Months flew by. I passed the TEFL exam, and Seria helped me find a position at a local school. My first class was nerve-wracking. I stood before a room full of eager Thai children, my heart pounding in my chest. But as I began to teach, something magical happened. I forgot about my own insecurities and focused on connecting with my students. I used games, songs, and storytelling to make learning fun and engaging. And to my surprise, it worked. The children responded enthusiastically, their faces lighting up with understanding. I thrived as a teacher. I loved sharing my passion for English, helping my students unlock their own potential. I felt a sense of purpose I'd never experienced before. I had found myself. Not in some vague, introspective way, but through the act of giving back. One day, I received a phone call. It was Seria. "Emily," she said, her voice filled with excitement. "I have some news. I've been offered a position at the United Nations in Geneva." My heart sank. I was thrilled for her, of course, but the thought of losing her, my mentor, my friend, filled me with sadness. "That's wonderful, Seria," I managed to say, my voice choked with emotion. "But what about the school? What about your family?" "They'll come with me," she replied. "And the school?" "Well, that's where you come in." I was confused. "Me?" "Yes, Emily. I recommended you to the school board. They've offered you my position." I was speechless. Me, taking Seria's place. It was an incredible honor. But also a daunting responsibility. I don't know if I can," I stammered. "Of course you can, Emily," she said, her voice firm. "You're ready. You've proven yourself." And then, the twist. "Besides," she added with a chuckle, "you already know the students. And you've been practicing your Thai. You'll be fine." My jaw dropped. "My Thai?" "Yes," she said. "Remember that tuk-tuk incident? You weren't just standing there gawking. You were trying to understand what the driver was saying. You were trying to communicate. You've been learning all along, Emily. You just didn't realize it." And then it hit me. She was right. Subconsciously, I had been absorbing the language, picking up phrases and vocabulary from Seria. From her family, from the market vendors. I wasn't just learning English, I was learning Thai too. The realization was a revelation. I had come to Thailand to find myself, to learn English. And I had done both, in ways I never expected. I had proven myself, not just as an English speaker, but as a teacher, a friend, and a communicator. And it all started with a near miss with a tuk-tuk, and a woman who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. My journey had just begun.